Okay, so pretty much what it's going to ask you that I tried to organize for you was the big case study. There's going to be, I think, 3 or 4 questions. Um, Focus on the big case study because that's going to link towards the others. So the case study, what it's pretty going to much ask you to do, it's going to give you a scenario. Okay, so here's the scenario. So they're seeing whatever it is, right? And it's going to give you a situation. It's just going to be a situation of exactly what you want to do. So it's going to ask you questions. So regardless of what the questions do, you need to break it down. So it's always going to ask you to, one, assess the student. Okay, so finding the strengths or the needs. So what I need you to do is just right here, just put strengths and needs. Just big like that. Go ahead, underline it. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to put 1, 2, and I think they're going to actually have 3. 3. Okay? And then you just write strength. And then another strength. And then a need. Or if you just want to do all needs or all strengths, whatever that may be, that's what you're going to do. Then you just write it out what it is. So let's just say that the student's strength is comprehension, right? Because they scored great based off of something. Comprehension, another strength that they're going to have, let's just say it's phonemic awareness, right? So you just do that. Then a need, let's just say their need, they suck in independent reading. So you just put independent reading. And then based off of those, you would just write a description, exactly what you see through the assessment. So it's just anecdotal information. So based off of Jim's comprehension skills on the assessment that was provided, he scored 90. So because of that, that's a strength. Same thing with phonemic awareness, same thing with independent reading. So you just write it out, okay? So that's one paragraph. Okay, then the next thing is they're going to want you to say, it's always going to say, what would you do? So I go ahead and identify the instructional strategy, or even skill, and then just underline it real quick like that, so it's very organized. Then you're going to put 2 different types of instructional strategies. What I would like to do is I always try to link it to the need, or link it to build upon the strength. Okay, so you can do that, or if you want, you could just go ahead and just do something that's totally not one of the strengths or needs, but something that is clear that they could use based off the instructional strategy. And that's pretty much instructional strategy that you've learned. So you're going to write the instructional strategy. So example, let's look at independent reading. So if you're going to want to promote independent reading, what do you do? Right? And so it's everything that we talked about how do you teach independent reading, and you would just write that. So just write exactly all first write exactly what it is. So let's just say that you would do finding exactly how the student exactly where they're at. So you'd want to ensure that you have a wide range of material that the student could access at all times. And so just write that. So wide range of material, or whatever you want to put. And then you describe that. So you describe exactly what the wide range of material is. You would say to help the student, to help Johnny build more on an independent reading level, he needs to blah, 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 blah. And then so you just talk about the instructional strategy. Okay. Then the last part is how each strategy helps. Okay. And you just do that. Now you're just going to link the 2 strategies that you put, and you support why that strategy works. And you could just put, for example, like that independent strategy that you put, and say, well, this strategy works because it will clearly help identify the student, understand how to do that. It's through direct, systematic, and explicit instruction that I blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Okay, so that's for the huge case that you have. The smaller samples are going to ask you, they're going to give you a scenario, but it's not going to be as in depth. So they're just going to ask you something where you just maybe identify strengths and needs, or some instructional strategies. The big case studies, they're going to give you a lot of material. So they're going to give you some work samples. They're going to give you some assessments. They're going to give you some anecdotal information that the teacher has. And so that's all it is. But the big thing is that when you write it, don't worry about writing in the paragraph form or anything like that. The big thing is that you need to know how to break it down. Because when the grader looks at it, the grader wants to see exactly, clearly, the strengths and the needs, and then numbered. And then strategies, what it is, numbered. And then finally, how the strategy supports the student, which could be on this part. And so you just write it here, and then again, just 1, 2, but just clearly identify what it is. So that's why when I gave you the study guide, and whenever I put something next to it, like this is the activity that I really like a question-answer relationship. Question-answer relationship really supports the student because it's a I do, we do, then you do. So I would just write that. Question-answer relationship supports the student by blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's why when on everything on the study sheet, when it comes down to instruction or teaching the student that specific skill, it's always very clear in terms of how to do that. And so that's why I like those, because those are the ones that work and really have the test grader find it. Okay, so that's all you need to know. So look at that in terms of the case study. Take the practice tests. The practice tests are the ones with the multiple choice. And after that, you should be good. But what I would do, again, is just memorize only a few things. And so I try to highlight some of the things that you need to memorize. All right? That's all you need to know. Peace.